Dude, how come I can't hear you? I can't hear you. Can't hear you, Ryan.
Here we go. Are we ready? Let's see. Can you hear me now, Kevin?
Now I can hear you.
But you don't hear me in Discord.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm tired of these updates. I just had a big update, guys, and it messed up all my settings. All my settings.
Dude, that video I made. Oh, now my
Right.
video's gone, bro.
Now you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I can't see my picture or my video.
What do you mean?
Oh, there it goes. Dude, that TikTok I made about the trial
Yeah.
went like semi-viral today.
Did it?
Yeah, I got like 3,000 views.
Nice.
And people were talking on it.
Who's in the who's viewing right now?
Nobody?
Nobody?
No, it's showing you as the broadcaster, Prepper Nation.
Well, I'm showing 2 on me, so we must have some you people on YouTube. Anyone who's in the chat, or anyone who's viewing right now, just drop, hey, what's up? If not, I'm gonna set up a few more things or whatever. If this is just phantom viewers, or if they're real, or what. But we're gonna wait since we're totally late coming in tonight. Since I got sidetracked on the Kyle Rittenhouse gig, so we're late. We're late.
How did he get in?
What?
Oh, it's Czar.
Czar?
He's on YouTube.
Did he put something in the chat?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so over this system, bro. It shows nobody's in the chat, bro.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
It shows it on mine.
Well, that's a bummer. It's not showing it on here, of course. Streamlabs sucks.
Czar, I could see you in chat on YouTube.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to pay attention to YouTube then. Oh, now I see. So Redneck Nation, 5280. I got Redneck Nation on Twitch. What's up, Redneck Nation?
I don't see anybody on Twitch. Oh yeah, dude, never do.
It's Hoosier.
Oh,
okay. It's Hoosier.
Chat real quick. It's your son, bro.
Yeah. So share it out. Whoa, what's that?
Here, while people are coming, let me go get Chloe set up. I'll get my mom to go watch her.
You have your pieces ready or what?
I got the one.
The one. You just plan on running around with one? The cricket or what?
Nothing much, Czar. Just joining the podcast. Why is my camera so small on there?
Like, dude, you moved. Remember? So you moved it or whatever you did.
Yeah, I moved the camera a little bit.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, we'll be playing tonight.
It's because that's how you're normally setting. Well, now that just seems like. Did you zoom your camera in, bro?
No.
Well, I don't know if your fast is working.
No, I'm not. I didn't zoom the camera in, but the camera is what you call it is. It's closer. I did adjust it.
I keep getting some weird feedback shit too. What's up, Ann?
There we go. Now we got some more people.
Yeah, they'll start flowing in. My bad, everyone. I decided to get too wrapped up in the trying to find someone to combat, right? And just kind of debate with this whole Kyle Rittenhouse case. And that just decided during all that, the amount of ignorance / lack of knowledge, we're going to go down this road tonight. So, because I personally believe if you don't know your own rights and stuff, you don't even really know the warning signs of when it's go time for your prepping and all that stuff. I mean, and I could be wrong in thinking that, but that's where I'm at on that. Right. So drop in the chat what you guys think. If you guys don't understand, or I'm not saying you guys don't understand, if
yeah, Paw Patrol.
Why is it on there?
Oh no.
I know you can see me.
That's Ryan.
Yeah, that's Ryan. That's crazy old Ryan.
I don't. He's not looking at you.
He's looking at you. He's waving at you. Wave into the camera, sweetie.
Yeah, I don't think you guys can see her. You guys can't see her. She's cut off. What's up, CZ? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, man. So this Streamlabs OBS system just did a big update. That's what took me literally like 9 more extra minutes. And now I can't see people's stuff on YouTube, and that's never been the problem. That's never been a problem.
If there's a big giant bear, what will you do to it?
Probably shoot it, sweetie.
We're talking about the werewolf apocalypse.
All right, sweetie. All right, I'll be right back, Ryan. I'm gonna go put her in the living room.
All right. So yeah, if anyone can share this stuff out there, any of that nature, if you guys can tell me if you can hear me good on audio or not, because it literally messed up every single setting I had. Yeah, we'll probably play a little bit tonight after this, since this podcast is gonna it'll probably only literally be about a half hour, 40-minute podcast. We're gonna try to limit it a little bit, since it started too late anyways. And again, guys, I apologize for that. That's totally my bad. I got a little tied up in TikTok, you know what I mean? It drives me nuts when my own fellow citizens don't even know the laws and their own rights. It gets me, man, that gets me amped. And I don't get mad at them, right? I'm disappointed, but I don't get mad at them. I wish they would just come and learn, right? Like, instead of just combat. I know the best. I know the most. Yo, Max, you haven't even been in there for the last few times, bro. I got banned. And I'm not even supposed to be unbanned from TikTok until like tomorrow at like 3 p.m. But I got banned. I don't know why I'm looking at the chat while I'm talking. But so, anyways, guys, we got 8, 9-ish plus people in here. So we can start rolling or whatever. This is going to be a very interactive podcast with the chat, right? So we're going to need you all to be interactive because literally we're going to go through and see what everyone knows about their own individual state for their gun laws and stuff, and just to see how they differ, because federal law is federal law, right? But state law, well, I mean, you see all the games playing by states. It changes a fair amount from state to state. Yeah, and you were literally like, you were on fire with all the blocking. I just kept seeing it come right across the top. Block, 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 muted, block. So, yeah, some of them are back there. Those are the ones that I'm willing to show, anyways. I'm not going to show any of my Class C stuff. I don't know what type of fiasco that'll cause. But, yeah, we'll be showing off. Kevin will be showing off too. So everyone drop, who's in the chat or whatever, drop where you're at again. And do you know anything about your, what I'm going to call constitutional carry? What's up, Tiger? Constitutional carry.
What's up, Tiger?
Laws. Because there's, I mean, you guys all see the hate on TikTok, right? And that's the only reason why there's that hate is literally because they don't know their own laws. And I feel, and I could be wrong with this, and I'll have Kevin jump in on it or whatever too, but I feel like there would be less problems like the Kyle Rittenhouse case if people truly knew the laws of self-defense and stuff. Because if those guys knew that, hey, look, this guy's got a gun, and if I pursue him, I am now the aggressor legally, and all he has to do is fear for his life or bodily harm, and he can take my life legally. So I think if people understand that, I think a lot less of this dumb shit would happen. What do you think about that, Kevin?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, it's a.
What does the chat think about it? What's up, Joey?
What's up, Joey?
What does the chat think about that? Because I personally believe if people know what they're getting themselves into, now I may be giving people a little more faith than I should be. I personally believe if they know, hey man, this dude can take my life if he feels threatened and I'm aggressing him, I think that would happen a lot less, right? So what is your views up in the chat? What about you, Kevin?
I think you also got to take into consideration that, you know, during times like that, it's you know, people are gonna do stupid, they know the law or not. But I'm just speaking to devil's advocate here. You know, it's like, not to get too heavy on what's going on right now, but it's just like that should have never happened. Like it should have. I don't know. Yeah, they should know the law though. I mean, knowing the law is the best defense to have as far as like going into a situation like that, right?
Well, I mean, it's knowing where your rights begin and end as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure some people just don't want to hear it, but those same people want to jump on people's TikToks and make everyone hear what they're saying, right? They want everyone to hear what they're saying, and it's just fake. It's garbage. It's fake news.
Yeah, I kind of I agree with what Czar's saying. I also, you know, I agree that trying to take somebody's weapon, yeah, I agree there too. I mean, because most people in that situation, they don't self-defense laws. Like they just don't. They don't. Especially non-gun owners, they're not going to know like constitutional law, like well, constitutional rights. They know that people have the right to defend themselves, right? But when they see people walking around with firearms, right, they're not going to assume that dude, you're lagging out, Ryan.
What do you mean I'm lagging out?
The stream is lagging out.
Don't, it looks
Oh,
just
there.
fine to me, bro. What you talking about?
I must be lagging on my side. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's a situation where, like if everybody owned a gun, right, and everybody
Like
there's
the
never going to be a
Western
time
days.
where everybody, yeah, there's never going to be a time where everybody owns a gun. I mean, that's just, I doubt that's going to happen, but it's because you have progressives and you have people that just don't believe that everybody should own a fire, own self-defense mechanism, right? They don't believe that they should, or they think that the Constitution is old and written by old people. There's you get a slew of things, right? So there's never going to be everybody owning one. But if every good guy had the right, which they do, without prejudice, to carry a firearm, there'd be a lot less criminals that are going to go out and target individuals, right? I mean, it worked with them. So there was anytime there wasn't like there is today, right? There's not people running around and just robbing people unless, Wild West, whatever. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain because of the society that we live in today, right? It's
I
hard
mean,
to
I just
explain.
think people would think twice and three times going, well, so if I know my rights and if I lose my rights once I'm the aggressor in a self-defense case, and you lose them immediately, right? Like the second you become a threat to this person, in their case, you've now just lost your rights, and that's literally why you need to know your rights before you lose them.
Well, should I just call her by her username, Macaroni?
Yeah. Call everyone by their username.
Macaroni, right? The way you define good and bad, right? In its infantile state, right? In its lowest form, is non-felons, right? If you're not a felon, you should be able to carry a firearm underneath your constitutional rights.
So I believe it even different. I think non-violent felon, right? So if you're a non-violent felon, so let's just say you decided to mess up a blackjack table or whatever, right? Or, I mean, it doesn't take much to become a felon anymore. It's so easy to become a felon. Let's just say, Kevin, you have something of mine that costs more than $500 and it's in your possession, and I tell you to give it back and you don't, and I call the cops on you and it's caught in your, or as a gun owner, I don't think so. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I mean, there's just, me personally, I don't think that anybody should be stripped of their constitutional right to carry.
No, me too.
I don't. But if you want to stay where you're within the law, then you need to, you need to define at what level do you lose that right. And that right there in itself is very, very tricky. Like, 'cause it's tricky.
Well, it's overstep from the government.
Yeah, it's tricky, and it's like, because each side can make their point, and the point will sound valid, right? It's going to sound valid, but it's not going to be valid because you have a constitutional right. And the only time that your constitutional rights are stripped from you is when you become a prisoner or in times of martial law. Other than that, you shouldn't have your constitutional rights stripped from you. So if you get a like what you're saying, Ryan, if you're a non-violent felon and you don't go to prison for it, and you go on like probation, it should be like a probationary period, and you might lose your constitutional rights for a small time, but not completely stripped from you.
I mean, I'm hands down, I'll even admit it, I don't care, it'll be on the internet forever. But even if martial law gets enacted, I ain't losing my rights, bro.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
see,
that's where my rights really start.
Yeah, see, martial law is the government's way, so they say, to regulate a certain type of situation, right? Martial law should only be implemented in times of total distress. And if total distress happens and martial law is implemented, at that point,
who's really the law at that point?
Yeah,
right?
who's
it's
the law?
People
who's
with the guns is the law.
Yeah, who's going to come and tell you that you can't carry you can't carry a rifle, or you having that gun is. That's not going to happen. I mean, if that ever happened,
Tiger, I believe with you 100%. Shall not be infringed. Didn't say it doesn't matter what your age, race, sex, felon, non-felon.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's why Jesse James and them were allowed to run around with a gun. You know what I mean? They were wanted for murder. They were going to hang him high, but he wasn't breaking the crime of owning a firearm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see, I agree. I think that you believe. I truly believe that your constitutional rights should not be infringed upon at all, right? And that's why the Second Amendment exists, to make sure that doesn't happen. But I will say that if you murdered 2 children and your wife, or you raped a 14-year-old, or you did capital punishment type crimes, right? And you're a felon at that point. Yeah. You do not deserve to have a firearm, and you shouldn't. I agree with that 100%. Because those are, and by saying that, you're not stripping it away from everybody. You're just stripping away from somebody who's considered, in my eyes, to be scum, right? That's when it should be stripped from you. Other than that, if you go out and you're in a state where marijuana is a felony and you get busted for it, you should not lose your rights. Anything like along those lines. I think there's a line between, because if you think about it, in today's day and age, we haven't defined what is, constitution. What felon would be what would take away your right to own a firearm? They just say felon, right? And that needs to be changed.
I agree with that. I'm trying to fix your face, bro.
Oh. I can adjust the camera, I guess. Dude, now you have me over you.
Yeah, just wait, bro. I'm working on it, bro. Jeez. Since you've been on that diet, you're harder to fit in this fucking camera, son. All right, now we can kind of see him. All right, that's better. Can everyone see him just fine now?
We need to define. Because what did she said?
Yep, they are proven that they can't handle the responsibilities of those rights.
Y'all need to outline what exactly martial law is. That's a term people throw around and don't know what that's true. That is very true. I mean,
literally, I'm not a criminal, and I won't hand my guns or rights over during martial law. That's just the only thing martial law tells me. And here I am. I preach about like law, right, as a constitutionalist. But martial law gets enacted. To me, that's the government and society has failed. And now you go back to the original Constitution. That's my martial law.
I mean, martial law. It's they don't actually tell you martial law. I see. The thing is, I don't want to define martial law because I don't know everything that's martial law. So I mean, I had gone over some of it with
I mean, it literally turns into a communist country to where basically, if the president doesn't say you can do it, you can't. Right?
Yeah.
That's boils down to, that's really what it is.
Yeah, and you still retain your rights, but they're not. Oh, I can't remember what the hell it is. You still retain your rights, but the Constitution doesn't protect you.
Right. So like,
if you break the rules of martial law. It's I know what it is. I've had the training in the military, but it was so I was in the military so long ago that I don't remember the actual definition of it. But martial law is a bad thing. When martial law is implemented, it's a very bad thing. I
yeah, I
mean,
mean,
well,
to me, that's the sign of civil war. That's the sign of like saddle up civil war type stuff when the government declares martial law and they are literally stripping your constitutional rights, right? To me, that's we're going to war, boys and girls. You know what I mean? Like, that's my view on it, and that's how I will do it, regardless of what Google or Wikipedia will tell you. That's how I'm going to roll with it, because I'm a red-blooded American, and my rights are my rights. And the second you strip those, now I'm going to fight, and I'm not going to fight fair, right? Like,
yeah.
No red-blooded American will. But
You see,
it takes martial law to enact all the stuff that these governments are already doing, right? Governments can't tell you when you can and can't be out in public.
Right? You see, Czar, let me just go off of what you just asked. Would you say that today's government wouldn't use martial law for their own benefit, not just in the U.S., but look at what's happening in Australia with the. Okay, see, here's the problem. Well, here's how the government's going to view it, right? Especially in the United States. If you implement martial law, right, you got to. Here, let me back up a little bit. Looking at it from, say, a government official, like a Secretary of Defense or someone along those lines, right? When they look at it, they look at if they implement martial law nationwide, right? There's a problem that comes up. The United States military is less than 1 million people, and when martial law is implemented, it's not active duty soldiers that are called up. It's the National Guard and it's the reservists, right? And the National Guard and reservists make up maybe not even half of our armed forces, maybe half. I don't know what it is today.
But they're the only ones who can actually occupy
those are the only ones that
our
can,
soil.
Yep. Yeah, because there's a law that the United States government cannot use our armed forces against our own people. You can't. So that's why you have the National Guard and the reserves. That's why you have those, because they're not considered to be. This is hard to explain. They're not considered to be active duty, right? They're not considered. So if you bring those in, let's just say it's 400,000 soldiers that you.
They're
right?
Honestly, okay. So the best way I'm going to help Kevin explain it, because he's overlooking it on this part, but literally the words "a well-armed militia," all right, that is actually literally our National Guard, guys. That is what that's in reference to, and that's how the military and the government has handled that. That's our well-armed militia. All right, now if it'll be that, who knows? But in real terms, in real reality, that is the well-armed militia. It's not the groups that get together like the 3%ers and the Oath Keepers and all that. They take it to the extreme, and they want to be called that militia, and they think they want to be a part of it. But our real militia is the National Guard, and that's why they get pissed on by everybody, because technically, I mean, I hate to say it, guys, or the reality of it, they're not on the same team as the normal military. They're not.
No,
right? They're not.
And just to go off of, like, Joey just kind of hit what I was trying to say, the nail on the head. You initiate martial law. You occupy every county in the United States, right? With 400,000 troops. Those 400,000 troops are looking down the barrel of 2.5 million people who have a firearm. Not to say every 2.5 million is going to be against what's going on, but they are going to be, like, they're not going to allow you to come and come and take away their rights. It's just not going to happen, right? And also, I don't know any American soldier. I don't personally know. I'm not going to say this, and this is coming from a veteran, right? I don't know any soldier that's going to look his neighbor in the face and aim a weapon at him and fire. Doesn't matter what general tells me to do it.
The plausible scenario, right? Like, this is the most, I don't even know if that's the right word. I
And
would
I
see
also
that
don't.
scenario playing out way more than anything else, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to talk like we're not in martial law. I don't ever see it happening anytime soon. It didn't even happen during the pandemic, and I don't want to talk bad about my fellow Americans. And I don't ever want to say that our own government would, or our own military would occupy our own country. I don't ever want to think of that. I don't ever want that to happen. I don't ever want to have any. I don't ever have to want to be in that situation. Um, so I that's the last thing that I think. I think even in the loss of infrastructure, you can't really implement it, and that's why it hasn't in today's modern age. We've never had martial. Well, I don't want to say that because it may have happened. I don't know. I'm not a historian, so I don't know for sure. But me, most people look at me and they don't see me as like a red blooded patriot of the United States. They look at me and think I'm out there yelling Black Lives Matter, but that's not the case.
CZ,
I
keep talking, Kevin. Sorry. CZ, my personal opinion on that is, it's always been a requirement, dude. The vaccines have always been a requirement. I mean, I hate to say that and hate to be that person, man. But I got 27 of them or 26 of them damn things for a reason. You didn't have a choice. Even if you travel across the pond, you're going to get those. It's required, or you're not going to travel.
You get them before you travel.
Yeah.
Here's how it works, Czar. When you sign on that dotted line, you are no longer a citizen. You are property of the United States government. Whether you like to hear that or not, that's the case. So when they come and they tell you that they're going to give you a vaccination, you do not have an option. There is no option. I've been vaccinated for damn anthrax. So I mean, so the thing is that you can't look at it that way. You can't look at it as them being, forced to do something because they're not being forced. They're not being forced. Because when you sign on that dotted line, it's a choice. It's not the government didn't come to you and tell you have to sign this dotted line. You made a choice to do so.
You willingly gave away your rights.
You willingly gave away your rights to be a veteran. This isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing on our government. It's not a bad thing on the person who signed on the dotted line. That person made a choice that he wanted to be a soldier. And when you become a soldier, you do give up those rights. But you become part of the greatest brotherhood ever. And I truly believe that. I mean, but you can't, if they're being court-martialed for it. I haven't heard about that, and I understand that you can be, and if they are, then they probably should be. Do I think it's right? I have no comment. But as a veteran, I know that you signed on a dotted line. You are now you are now property of the United States. I mean, everybody in the military makes jokes about it, and it's true.
And I mean, I'm not saying I agree with it, but as a constitutionalist in our like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I can't play devil's advocate on it and only pick and choose the laws I want to follow. You know what I mean? Like, that's you won't catch me being a hypocrite like that.
You signed up you signed up your free will, basically. No, you still have free will. You still have free will. Because here, let me put it this way for you, Czar, right? When I'm not gonna, I'll use this as an example. I won't say it myself. But here's how it works, right? There's a reason for that, right? Because if you are standing behind a wall and there are insurgents on the other side of that wall, you have to have when someone tells you fire back, you have to fire back just because that person told you to do that, right? So you're not giving up your free will, but you are giving up your free will to make decisions on your own personal body when it comes to vaccines, right? Because if a general comes to me and tells me, shoot so and so, I can not pull the trigger, and I could get court-martialed for it, but I still have the free will to not do it, right?
Yeah.
If I don't feel that it's not a valid or a lawful order, I can show disagreement with it, and I can be court-martialed, but you still have your free will. Your free will is not stripped from you, but your rights to make decisions, like whether I'm going to take a vaccination, whether I want to go to war or not, you still are going to go. That's the part. That's what you give up. You don't give up your free will. I mean, free will is you. You have the you as a human being, whether you're an American or not, you have your own free will.
And you still have a conscious decision to make.
Yep.
Regardless, right? Like that's your own battle that you have. You have just given your promise to the U.S. government saying that you will back the Constitution and stuff. So you also you're backing the Constitution, not the government. Right? Like that's what people, just because someone, just because commander in chief tells you to do it, it's still you still need to do your due diligence to push back on that if that's not okay, if that is a war crime, if that's and that's literally what people deal with all the time in the military, and that's very unfortunate. But it takes those people to push back to create checks and balances, because if not, then it turns into a runaway, right?
Yeah, and in the military, your orders don't come from the butter bars. Butter bar is a lieutenant, is a guy fresh out of Westwood or
yeah, he's the messenger, bro.
He's the messenger. Your orders come from commanders, right?
Yeah, it comes from brass.
Yep, in the military, there's non-commissioned and commissioned officers, right? And the way it works is non-commissioned officers has his hierarchy. Commissioned officers have a hierarchy too, but there's commands and then there's a platoon leader, right? There's levels of it. The command comes from the brass from up top, right? They're the ones who make the decisions, and they get their decisions from somebody higher up than them. But if you're in combat, it's different, because yes, butter bars are to a level they're going to be they're going to be there with you, but there's still a commander over the platoon, right? There's the captain, then there's the butter bars and the first lieutenants, and they take and then those orders go through a non-commissioned officer, whether it's a staff sergeant or above, master sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant first class, down to the privates, specialists, and down the line, right? So your orders come, and they come from people that are making these decisions, that are knowledgeable to make these decisions. So but when it comes to vaccinations, right? Because that's what you're asking about, Czar, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. I believe, and this is all I'm going to say about it, but I believe that you don't have a choice, right? You don't have a choice. You take the vaccination if that's what's required.
Well, I mean, you do have a choice. You just get dishonorably discharged or whatever. I've always known dishonorably discharged. And you can go through the appeal process, but from what I understand, like 99% of those appeal processes are getting denied. Yeah. Did she draw us a picture?
Yeah.
And I mean, Ann, I agree with you 100% on this. I argue all the time with individuals in my life that it's not a vaccine, right? Like it's not. When we took the anthrax vaccinations, that's literally a six step, or I shouldn't say 6 steps, 6 different shots, right? And I don't know what it is. Like I fainted on one of them. I don't know if it just like spiked my blood pressure or whatever, right? But I was done. Like I couldn't walk, talk, move. They had to move me out of the way so the dude right behind me could get his. And you want to see a concerned person, watch someone getting ready to get the same shot the dude in front of you just got, and he fainted because of it. Right? Like the anthrax shot, that was no joke. That yeah, I mean it literally.
I got a scar on my arm right here. I got a scar on my arm from when I was getting the shots.
Like you want to know what it feels like? It's literally like taking like Jello and injecting it into your arm. It's like thick, huh, dude? Like I could just feel the muscle fibers just tearing. It literally leave like a little bump.
Yeah, I got a scar on my arm because when they hit me with, I think it was like the eighth shot, because I used that air gun. Their condensation on the end of it was so much, like whoop, it just slipped across and it cut big ass cut on my arm. The anthrax shot was done in phases, man. That stuff was bad, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
passing out.
But I mean, that was a true vaccine, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, we could get into definitions of it, vaccination, and yeah, I mean, we could absolutely.
So if
But
I was in the military right now, if I was active or anything, I would get dishonorably discharged. Because is it a, like, people want to go into conspiracies about this, and I'll address this conspiracy just playing devil's advocate. But they're like, oh, well, it's just a big mass murder. You know, Bill Gates wants to take people out and all this, and or yada yada. Right there, there's so many conspiracies surrounding it. They're microchipping you and whatever. Right? There's hundreds of them out there. If they want to kill the people, right, the last thing the government wants to do is kill everyone that's willing to listen to them. They don't want to leave all the rebels like me, right, that don't want to listen to them, that don't want to take it, that'll fight back. They would rather get rid of those, right? So let's just conspiracize for a second and just hear me out. What if this is a vaccine, but it's not a vaccine for COVID, and it's a vaccine for something to come, and let's just say 2022, right? That all the unvaccinated are going to die from a new version of anthrax or something like that, right? I'm just making this is far-fetched. But I'm just saying it makes more sense than if you take the jab, you're going to die. They would rather keep those people who are willing to follow in suit than the ones who wouldn't. It's the aborted fetal cells for me. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Everyone has their own stuff about it, right? I just don't. I don't want it.
I would.
I don't
I would
trust
have.
it.
If I was still in right now, I would take it. I'm not going to take a dishonorable discharge, but that's just me. That's just me. I wouldn't take a dishonorable discharge. No dishonorable discharges.
All right, let's get on to some fun stuff. Let's get on to some guns.
Dude, I'm like sweating for some reason.
Oh, it's because you just lost 8 pounds, bro.
No, it's because I didn't eat for 4 days.
Yeah, now you got the meat sweats, boy.
I didn't even eat a lot. I ate a very small amount.
I remember when I fasted one time and do all this fun shit, right, to help people that are less fortunate out. But you had to do it while you were fasting. And then as soon as that was up, I literally left the church, bro, and went to Wendy's and got a triple cheeseburger with extra cheese, lard fry, bro. Smart. Dude, it came out the window, on the front windshield, all over the place. Like, pfft. So me and the fasting, I'll just take ounces off at a time. I'm not trying to lose a bulk amount of weight right off the bat. I'll just take the ounces.
I just didn't eat for 4 days because I wanted to get in ketosis as quick as possible. I've done it before. I've done a 7-day fast before. It's not that. It's nothing for me, but they want They want pews, Ryan. Go bust out all your guns.
Well, I mean, I don't have a bunch of them here. Let's see. Hold up.
What's your everyday carry? Mine's easy. And by the way, there is no magazine in here. There's no bullets in here. This weapon is cleared. I just almost pointed at my head. There's no bullets in it, but that's my everyday carry, Glock 19.
Are you done? Glock 19. What ammo do you run?
Hold on. Yep, sweetie, what do you want to watch?
Mine's easy, okay. Right? So this is the first one. Right here. This thing, now, this stock sucks. All right, but I took it off so I could have my significant other shoot it, right? Easier. And then I realized it kicked the living shit out of you. No, yeah, his is a Glock. His is definitely a Glock.
Do what now? Oh, Glock, or am I seeing it wrong? Yeah, it's a Glock 19.
This right here, this is the ultimate little home defense, home invasion, hunting, whatever you want to do. This is an AR.
And the ammunition is that guy right there. Hornady critical defense. I use 115 grain. And the reason why I use 115 grain is just because 127 grain is hard to find.
120. I got a whole bunch of that stuff over at the house.
Yeah,
CZ, this is
plenty of
not
it.
a 5.56 or 2.23. This is literally an AR-12. This is a 12 gauge shotgun that is. I can't remember. Macaroni would actually have to tell you what the name of this gun is. We name all of our guns, right? But I'm pretty sure it's like Succubus or something like that, right? But this thing is like. So if I was in Kyle's case, or if someone called up and I needed to go down and do something like that, I probably would have actually carried this over an AR-15. Yeah, it's Succubus. That's what I thought. But I mean, literally the AR-12 gauges, guys, I promise you, they are fantastic, reliable, multi-use stuff. Like, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff you can do with this firearm. And this is one of the major prepping guns that I'm going to recommend to people is to get an AR-12 gauge or a 12 gauge, even if it's just a pump action or whatever, right? And I mean, you can go mild to wild with this thing, guys. Like, it comes with, on average, right, or like a normal deal, it'll hold 6 rounds in this mag. But in the mag behind you see this one? Oh, God, I can't. Right there. See that long banana clip? That'll literally hold 30 rounds. But it'll make the gun almost unshootable because it's so damn heavy. Like it's fun. But this
yeah,
one,
I wouldn't use it. I've shot that actual gun and that thing, man. I couldn't be accurate with it.
And here's the funny thing, Macaroni, first thing she ever did was, I mean, first gun she ever shot was this gun, right? Got it for her and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this for you." We took her out, and boom, dude, she just started smoking every target she touched with it, and she's never fired a gun before. Now, granted,
yeah,
I'm a pretty good coach, right, when it comes to firearm training, so she lucked out on that one. But she was so scared of it. And I'm going to tell you right now, Macaroni is she's a girly girl, right? She's not someone like, I mean, I don't know if Anne's a girly girl or not or whatever, but she just doesn't seem like it from her TikTok. She seems more like she's ready to fight. But that's a very reliable and actually fairly inexpensive. I think we paid like $600 for it, guys, without optics. And the optics that came on it were flip up sights initially. But that's like the ultimate gun right there. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, Nikki or Tiger, you come on down here, man. I'll take you guys shooting. My lady needs to get back out and do some shooting and stuff anyways. Good stress relief. But the gun's light. It's reliable. It actually has a chamber right here. It's going to be hard to see, right? Yeah, it's going to be hard to see. But right here, there's a sliding weight, right? So when you actually shoot it, it actually reduces the recoil greatly. What Kevin doesn't know is I gave him the like big heavy shot loads, so it knocked the piss out of him. I gave him the stuff I would shoot out of it, right? Right there. So 6.5 Creedmoor. 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm more into the exotic stuff. Not off the shelf. You know, I guess 6.5 Creedmoor is becoming more and more a normalcy now. But
yeah, my shotgun is a basic shotgun.
And that thing's
Very
got
basic.
to kick harder than this one.
No, this is a basic ass shotgun, bro. Cheap. I think I paid I paid like $300 for this.
But a 12 gauge, I think, is a number one thing that everyone should own. For one, in survival, prepping is hunting, right? Like hunting is going to be your big thing, and to be able to get small game, birds, stuff like that, that's going to be your best bet,
Stock up on birdshot.
right? Dude, I got so much ammo. I got a whole gun room that I just can't pick up the computer and show you guys or whatever I would.
Mine just sits in here.
But the Creedmoor is this guy. Sorry.
And then this is my.
That's the Creedmoor.
This is my AR. I'll just show that part, this portion of it, right here.
You can't hit this broadside of a barn with that thing either. I can shoot my 10mm pistol just as much as good as he can shoot that AR.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I have that. That's my everyday carry AR. And then I have
20 gauges are good little guns, man. I like 20 gauges. I had this little 20 gauge H&R. It knocked the piss out of you, but man, that thing was accurate. It was a little single shot breakaway. Yeah, I mean, 20 gauges are awesome. I'm just that person who doesn't like to buy things twice. But I do know the benefits of 20. I mean, 20 gauges, you're going to do anything you can. The same as a 12 gauge, really.
and then I also have a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I also have a 308 AR-10.
So I don't.
That rounds up my stuff.
So the bows and stuff, I think that's a good question for stealth size. But I'll never naturally hunt with a bow until I'm forced to.
That reminds me.
But yeah, those things are awesome options, and they're actually fairly well. I mean, they were cost effective. I don't know what they're at now. Now I see crossbows and stuff like $7, $8 plus $100, and it's like, damn, you can buy a gun for that. But Kevin's big into the bow stuff.
I have one of these too. I have this for straight hunting. And yeah, I have this for hunting, and I have it for self-defense as well too, if I ever needed to. But I think that this is it's an important thing. I believe it's an important thing to have because, you know, got like a million arrows that go along with it.
Right. I mean, so imagine this. People are freaking out about people carrying an AR-15. Right. But I think I'd be more scared with the dude with the bow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, bro. Like, I think I'd be way more scared about a dude carrying a bow than I would an AR-15. I'd be like, what the hell is this shady ass motherfucker getting ready to do? Like, he can.
Yeah, I'd be more.
He can nail it.
I'd be more worried about somebody with a shotgun, with slugs, and a bow. I mean, you right. For one, I'm not going to hear it coming. Two, I don't know. I'm pretty damn accurate with that bow, man. That bow is. I'm accurate as shit with that. I can't pull it back right now because, you know, I'm out of shape, but because it's a 70-pound bow. It's 70-pound Hoyt. And,
yeah, I saw. He sent me a video the other day of it or whatever. He was sitting there holding it, and he was like,
yeah, it's dialed down. It's dialed down to I think it's at like 65 pounds right now. And I'm not gonna say I struggle with it. I just have a bad shoulder, but I have to condition myself in to be able to put it to 70 pounds, full 70 pounds, and run it at 70
See, where's
pounds.
my stuff? Man, I need to get a Bluetooth headset, bro. I'm tired of these wires.
Yeah, I have one. I should probably put it in. Yeah, Zara, it's 70 pounds. Or right now, it's set to 65, right around 65, close to it. I mean, you don't need more. I mean, I don't go and practice with it at 70 pounds. I don't even hunt with it at 70 pounds. I set it to what's comfortable for me, and I'm a big guy. You know, I'm 6'6", 250 pounds, but I'm comfortable pulling back a 65-pound bow. I could have went 80 pounds and been, I could have went and been like, all these great bow hunters, like Joe Rogan and all them, but I'm not out trying to prove something. I could shoot and kill an elk at 65 pounds, no problem. For one, you don't want to shoot an elk over 50 yards. So I mean, or you don't want to shoot any animal over 50 yards unless you're really good. But 65 pounds is plenty. Yeah, that thing is accurate as all hell, and I'm pretty damn good with it too. I mean, I had the guys at the range wanting me to join the league, and I was like, yeah, I have a little daughter. I can't really commit to that. But yeah, I just think a bow is extremely accurate, extremely reliable. You're never gonna have it jam, never gonna have it break unless you are, treat it like crap. There's less parts to worry about breaking. I don't have to have ammo for it. I mean, well, yeah, you do. You have to have arrows, but I've got a ridiculous amount of arrows. Here's if you have a bow, right? If you have a bow, here's a tip: go to Walmart, like right after deer season, like right around Christmas time, right around the 1st of January, and they put their arrows on sale for $1. And if you don't believe me, you get the real tree arrows. And if you don't believe me, you can go on YouTube and you can YouTube this. There's a guy from Colorado, a really good archer. I've met him in person. A really good archer that ran tests on Walmart arrows, and they came out as good or better than some of the most expensive, like the FMJs from what you call Easton. They're not as good. Well, they're just as accurate. And I got lucky and went there the day they went on sale, and I cleared out every arrow they had there. Every single 31-inch arrow, I bought them all.
Hold on, guys. Kevin, you keep going. I got a thing I got to address
All
real
right.
quick.
So yeah, so I mean, don't look down at the Walmart $5 arrows. Those are excellent arrows for the price. Excellent. You can't beat it. So you can stock up on those. They always have them in stock until they clear them out for next year because arrows change every year. And once they go on sale, just go buy them. I literally had, I could bust them out. I have that whole closet back there, right back there. This whole closet is full of arrows. Like I must have, I don't know, 400 arrows. I don't even have enough broadheads. I have, my broadheads I may have like 40 broadheads, and then I have a bunch of field tips. I have field tips for all of them, but I only have like 40 broadheads, and that's for hunting, right? But I also use lighted nocks too.
Or some income.
So here's another tip: if you're gonna buy arrows for your prep, which you should if you own a bow, right? You should have a shit ton of arrows, right? If you're gonna buy arrows, make sure that you buy lighted nocks. And the reason behind that is because you don't want to lose your arrows. Just like you don't want to waste your ammo doing target practice during prep times. You want to get lighted nocks. And they are pricey. They're like $20 for 4 or 5 of them. But just whenever you get a spare couple bucks, go and buy some lighted nocks. And you'll never lose an arrow with those. And they last forever. That's a pro tip. Pro tip.
I didn't know there was pros in here.
No, I'm not a pro by any means. I know just enough to get myself killed.
I don't have nothing for that. And now, so like my So the way I do things, I guess like a little backstory for the way I do in handling my firearms and stuff is I reload all my own ammunition, and I created a system so I use a 6.5 Creedmoor and I use a 6.5 Grendel. The 6.5 Grendel is in the obviously this AR platform right here or whatnot, right? But I do it for a reason to where I can literally utilize everything for reloading multiple times, right? So I'm not having a whole bunch of stuff. I don't have to buy 10 different things to reload. I literally have an SBR like 10 millimeter, and then I also have all my 10 millimeter handgun stuff. Macaroni runs a 10 millimeter handgun.
What?
As well, yeah, bro. She ain't no puss, bro.
You should have a 9mm, bro.
We're here to take the town down.
Here's my theory. Well, after Ryan explains this, I got a theory about.
And then I run 6.5 millimeter projectiles. So I'm literally only buying 2 different diameters of projectiles, and I get to buy way more, right, for the price, because now I'm multi-using stuff. And I mean, the only difference between these two is distance, really, right? Velocity. I mean, that's the only thing I'm gaining or losing between one or the other. Between this one and the American flag gun back there. And then the same thing with the 10 millimeter. Like 10 millimeters are ruthless. Like, I asked Kevin when I first got that, I went and dialed it in. And what was I? I was at 50 yards, and I put like 8 out of the 10 rounds in the like, what was that? Like an 8-inch target or whatever, somewhere around there. So I just go for the most accuracy and the best velocity out of everything. That's just how I do it. Like I'm just a numbers person. Ballistic coefficiencies, like takedown power, and that's why I switched over.
Yeah, and so for me, I have my own theory about ammunition, which is a pretty common theory with it. Is have at least one firearm that's chambered in a very common caliber. And the 2 most common calibers in the United States, everybody knows, is 9mm and 5.56 223. So that way, if you ever were to run out, you would be able to find it. Not going to say it's laying on the ground, like a lot of people say, "Oh, it'll be laying on the ground." No, it shouldn't be, and it won't be. But you'll be able to find it, right? And then you have a weapon that's chambered in it. Same thing goes if you were to go, because what's going to happen, and a lot of people are like, well, if I needed to, I would just go to a gun store and take firearms. There's 2 problems with that. One is most gun stores will be empty anyway, and 2, you're probably going to find less common firearms chambered in less common calibers. And the problem with that is you haven't trained with it. And I don't care what anybody says, you're not going to be as efficient with a 40 or with the 40 Smith and Wesson than you are with a 9mm that you've been training with your whole time. You're not going to be as familiar with a 10mm as you are with a 9mm, because 10mm and 40 and 45 all have different recoils, all have different recoil patterns, all have, there's different characteristics to that fire, to the way that ammunition is fired. So you're going to be losing 2 things. There's not going to be there's not going to be a lot of ammo on the ground of it, and 2, you're not efficient as you are with the calibers that you train with. So you always want to have firearms chambered in calibers that you are trained in, right? You don't want to have I know a lot of gun collectors will have, they'll have like 13 different, 20 different calibers that they have their guns chambered in. Good for you. That's awesome. Just like Ryan, I reload all my own ammunition. I've gone a little bit past what Ryan does, because I have more calibers than what he has, because I have 308, 9mm, 5.56 223, and 6.5 Creedmoor, and also 45 ACP. But I don't have that firearm anymore. But I do have the capabilities to reload it. So with that many different calibers, it's not a lot. It's, you know, but like Ryan's saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my AR platform from a 5.56 223 5.56. I'm going to change it to 30 blackout or 300 blackout. So that way I'm using a 30 caliber bullet, which matches my 308. So I can use the same bullet for each one of those. And then all I'll have is 6.5 Creedmoor 9mm. So I have 4 calibers, and all my firearms are purpose close counter engagements. I don't want to be, and I know there will be. I know that there will be times that I will have to be in close quarters, and I'm well trained at that. But my preference is to be somewhere where I'm guarding my situation from a further distance, right? So that way, that's why I have a 6.5 Creedmoor. Mine's a model 700, close to a model 700. It's highly modified, but I have that, and then I also have my AR-10, which is, you know, it's not a common AR-10. You know, it's got a 20-inch barrel, and it's, you know, stainless steel chrome line barrel and all that stuff for accuracy. It's a very accurate AR-10. And the reason why I have the AR-10 and the 6.5 Creedmoor is because I will use that AR-10 and fire that thing off in semi-automatic and hit multiple people that are coming at me, rather than sitting there trying to. This isn't Call of Duty.
Right.
Draw super fast. Sleight of hand. I don't have that. You know, I want an AR-10 where I can have a magazine that has more than one round per what you call it. I'm shooting that damn thing as quick as I can pull the trigger. That's my philosophy, and everybody has to have their own philosophy on why they purposely own, why they have their firearms. There's a purpose to it, right? You decide on what you want to do, and then you go buy the best option for that.
And
If
buy
you want to have,
backups for that option, right? Like,
yeah, buy backups for that option. Like I tell everybody, you shouldn't have just one handgun. You shouldn't have just one. You should have more than one, 2 at a minimum, and you should have at least 2 per person. Well, 2 per person in your group that's going to be your defense, right? They should have at least 2. Not carrying them on their person. You should always have 2, because you never know when you're going to get. Because in a firefight, lots of times people are going to drop their firearm, or they're going to. There's a way that you could lose that firearm, especially in a shit hits the fan type situation. You may lose it. It may not be because you're incompetent, but you may lose it. So you want to have that backup. You got to have a backup to the backup, right? When you're prepping, you have multiples of everything. You should have multiples of at least handguns, multiple rifles. That way,
and if
if
you
you
don't
ever were
have
to lose it, you
multiple
have it.
rifles, right, and you can't afford the, oh man, that's $800 per AR-15 or whatever. Now I got they're like $1,200, $1,300 for a $700 gun right now. But the thing I'm gonna stress is learn how to service your gun. Right, like take it apart. Don't just buy it, look at it, and be like, "Oh man, that thing's cool." Like, shoot it, yeah, sure, and then literally learn how to take it apart and maintenance it. Don't be that person that doesn't know, and don't be that person. So look, everyone thinks these ARs are these great God's gift guns and stuff. They're not. Right there, they're not. You have to put some serious money into them to be a great gun, and the more money you put into them, the easier they break. Right?
And they jam quite a bit.
Like they're not the best, guys. They're not like.
Yep, it's a firearm that you need to keep maintenance. You need to keep that gun clean. You have to. It's an AR platform. Now,
And you need
the
to carry
civilian
bolt carrier groups and charging handles.
Yep, there's a difference between the civilian AR-15 and the military AR-15. If you ask me, the civilian AR-15 is easier to keep reliable, because in the military I had to clean my gun every damn time I shot it. Right now I can go and probably shoot my gun a few times before I have to clean it, and that's just because of the components that are in it. Right, I chose higher quality components. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of mil spec. Most of you probably have, but mil spec isn't the most reliable.
No, it's garbage. That's like,
but it is the most, you know, the best line I've ever heard in a movie was, "We're sitting in a rocket that costs blah, 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 built by the lowest bidder." It's true. Right. Mil spec in the military was the cheapest person to get that contract at the cheapest price to provide what they needed. So they're not the most reliable, but they are very accurate. Like, I don't care who has the AK, he's never going to be as accurate as I am with my AR. Just not going to happen. And 2, They are the reason why the military has the AR-15, the 5.56 platform, is because that weapon is the same as the saw, fires the same round as the saw, and a lot of people don't know, but there is a sniper rifle in the military that is chambered in 5.56. So they just have multiple. They just wanted multiple guns for one caliber, so that way they didn't have to have, like the M80, which is the M60 back in the day. The M60 shot the M80 7.62 by 51. And they went away from that because the M1 Grand, and they just went away from that and they went to the 5.56. You should do the same thing, right? You should have a firearm, multiple firearms that shoot the same calibers. That way you just don't have to worry about swapping out calibers. A lot of theory into it, but if you take anything from this, just make sure that you, one, buy a firearm that's very common and easy to get parts for and easy to get ammunition for, and two, you're highly trained with it. Maybe not highly trained, but you are efficient with that firearm because you have trained with it. You don't have to go to formal training. Just go out and shoot. Become very efficient with it. Learn how to learn how to shoot and reload it all in the same cadence, and go learn how to be accurate with it. And that's all you need. That's not all you need, but that's giving you
That's a big head
10
start.
steps. Yeah, you're 10 steps ahead of everybody else if you do that, right? Because a lot of guys will go out and buy a firearm and put it in their safe or put it underneath their pillow. That's it.
And the only time they really needed it and it failed on them because they didn't know how to use it.
Yep. And also remember, a firearm, a handgun, is the most inefficient way to defend yourself.
Unless if it's a 10 millimeter.
Whatever. I say that. I say that because the bottom line is, a handgun should be your last resort if your life really depends on it. A rifle is much more accurate. It is much more. It's just a better way to defend yourself. You don't want to defend your home with an AR. You don't want to defend your home with a AR-10 or a Model 700 chamber in 300 Win Mag. You don't want to do that, but that's why you have the handgun. The handgun is just. It's a secondary weapon. I hate to keep bringing up military stuff, but that's the training. That's where I come from. But in the military, you don't go out there and train your ass off on a handgun. You just don't. No. You carry it as a secondary weapon, and not all soldiers carry it.
What's the first thing they teach you how to do? Tear it apart, put it back together before you ever even shoot it. Well, literally, before you ever even shoot it.
You learn how to carry. You learn how to carry a rifle safely. Every time when you're in the military, you put a magazine into it. It's empty, right? You put a magazine into it, you falsely charge it, and then you put it on safe, and you learn how to walk around 40 other people with it. You learn how to safely walk around with it.
And that's what I'll give that kid Kyle props, man.
All right, I'll be right back.
Every video they showed of Kyle Rittenhouse, he was on point with his gun safety. That's one thing I'm super impressed about that kid for sure. Is that gun safety. Let's see. Is CZ still in here? I'm not sure if CZ is still in here. We dropped one person. So in the chat. I don't know if everyone can hear me, right? What does everyone up in the chat have for their EDCs and their plan? Yeah, for everyone telling him he's a kid and he never should have been there. I've seen officers handle situations way more poorly. Yeah, so what pieces do you guys have for harvesting animals, security, stuff of that nature? I'm not trying to get
in front of me.
What the hell? I keep getting some like weird stuff.
With
Here, we can stick it on the seat.
I'm getting some weird like
Okay, sweetie, go order nanny.
what is that?
I want to see it.
Oh no. Leave that right there. Okay.
You have a
Sweetie,
Gluck.
You gotta go with your
9 M&P EDC. Fiance has a Smith & Wesson M&P2 and a 12 gauge.
There you go.
Tiger, have you used those yourself? Have you become familiar with those at all?
Hey, sweetie, go on. Thank you, sweetie. Perfect.
Right up in Desert Storm. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. I was a private contractor.
Oh, I didn't even see that question.
I didn't touch guns for a long time.
Yeah, sorry. Just to answer your question, have you all served in the military? I did serve in the military.
So I get it, and I feel you on that one for sure. Currently have a Glock 19. Also looking to add a Glock 48. Not at this time.
Beyonce has a Smith & Wesson NMP.
I mean, Tiger, I'd really,
And 12 gauge.
really try to encourage you to do it. I think you were talking about your fears with it. And if Macaroni's still in here, you guys can talk like privately if you want, because she addressed those same fears.
Glock 48. You're gonna carry it. You're gonna carry that Glock 48 as your everyday carry.
Bro, I carry my freaking Glock 40 as an EDC.
I mean, I wouldn't carry that. I wouldn't even try to carry that thing. At the time working on it, I've become more familiar on my breakdown. I like the shield. I just like Smith and Wesson.
See, I mean, I don't know. I was never even a big Glock fan, guys. Like, but I mean, the reliability and the count, right? It's hard to beat. And I think more the exotic pistols, I think more issues you get. I think they're even worse than rifles and stuff. You know what I mean? Like Kimbers have a lot of issues and they're big money. SIGs. I've never read an article where you can drop a Glock and it will go off. So it's just really the reliability thing. I mean, I don't even like the way it fits my hand, man. Like Glocks, they just don't fit my hand, and I got a big hand. Now the HKs, those things fit like a glove. But now you're talking more expensive.
Yeah, it's more pricey. I think I have a couple. Like Glock 19. I bought the Glock 19 just because I liked it when I shot it. I liked it, so I bought one. I like the NMP Shield. I like the Canic. That's gonna be my next gun. Is gonna be a Canic.
See, I just don't think I would ever do one of those because that slide's just so damn small, bro. Like I would be grabbing the frame trying to rack it.
Yeah, I like it. I like both. I like their compact and their full size. I just like them, but that'll be my next gun, and it's very affordable. I don't like a 1911. People think I'm crazy because of that. I don't like the 1911. I just don't. And
yeah, I'm not a 1911 fan.
And then but I do like the 2011. Like I would own a 2011 if I could afford one. Not that I would pay that much money for one, but
I mean, you can get a Rock Island Armory one that's actually decent.
Yeah, for a decent price. Yeah, but for me, it's just those are the handguns. I'm not a big handgun guy. Like I have the Glock 19 to carry it every day. I have and then that's all I have now. I actually Used to have two. I don't have two anymore. I have one. I had one that I keep in my truck, and then one that's in the house. Because I live in Colorado, and I can actually have a firearm in my truck, and there's no laws broken there. Yeah, I'm more of a rifle guy. I always have been. I always liked long range shooting. Um, Marksmanship. I like rifles better. I only have one AR-15 because I downsized. Like Ryan's saying, there's no reason for me to have four of them.
Yeah, like
Like his
what do you? I
dad has
mean,
like 30.
don't fall into that trap, man. You know what I mean? Like, don't fall into the. You'll talk to preppers and stuff like, I got 11 of them AR-15s, and it's like, well, what the hell are you gonna do with all them things when you got to leave? You're gonna run across, get a 50-gallon or 55-gallon drum and hook it to a dolly and throw all your guns in it and just try to tow 400 pounds around while you're running through the brush. Like, it's not a great idea. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
I decided to down. I just decided to down, just not have so many of them, and I have one that I really like. Built it myself, and it's a special gun. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to get into that whole conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, and guys, don't be scared. I mean, for like beginner stuff and stuff, it is not hard to build an AR.
No, and you could build it very cheap.
Yeah,
too.
you can build it really cheap. You're going to know how to do it. You're going to know how to put it together, take it apart because you built it yourself, and it's not that expensive.
Let me back up a little bit. They used to be fairly inexpensive. They're still kind of inexpensive. You can get a lower now for like $80. Before they were like what, 25? I mean, there is a huge inflation on them, and it's harder to find parts. They're starting to come in kind of regularly now. But it's still more affordable.
Mr. Zeminski.
Than it is to go out and buy a pre-made one.
And
and it's not that hard to do. And it's a good thing to do, like Ryan's saying. Not only will you know how to take it apart, you'll know how to take it all the way apart. So you strip the lower in there and break it in, everything.
People right there.
And it's a good way to learn, and I recommend everybody do that. Even if you have a store-bought full AR, you break it completely down, all the way down. Break it all the way down where all the pins are out, the springs are out, and then learn how to. See, that's real. It's not that hard. I mean, the hardest part of doing that is aligning your gas block, and you want to be careful with that because it can cause, malfunctions, improper gassing, and it can cause malfunctions and stuff like that. But it's not the hardest thing in the world to do. And then if you do get down that far, I do recommend you getting more let's just say advanced gas block for it. Whether you, I mean, I probably wouldn't go as far as getting an adjustable gas block, but just get a better gas block than what the factory came with. That's a good thing to have. If you want to familiarize yourself with an adjustable gas block, so you have that versatility. That way you can shoot. Because I don't know about Ryan, but my AR doesn't like heavier bullets. Like, it doesn't like it, and there's a reason for that. I'm not going to say it out loud because I just don't want to get into that. But it doesn't like heavier grain bullets. It doesn't like it shoots really good with a 55 grain. If I go above 5.56 68 grain, it doesn't like that. Like a 77 grain doesn't like that. And if you're a reloader, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a reloader, you probably don't. Because when you reload, you have that versatility to be able to load your ammo to whatever grain and bullet weight and stuff like that you want. But mine doesn't like that. But I put in an adjustable gas block, and it likes it a little bit more. Now it'll shoot 10 rounds before it jams. But yeah, there's a lot of, and then once you start getting familiar with all that, you can start upgrading your AR to get different springs for it, get buffers, different buffer springs, different buffers, different different bolts and stuff along those lines, and you can start. Because I don't know about everybody else, but I love shooting guns. It's fun, right? It's fun. It is a enjoyment to go out and shoot that thing, and there's ways to make it even more fun. Just don't go shoot tracers. Well, I don't know where you're from, but in Colorado, they're illegal.
Right, they'll start fires. Let's see here. Monday, Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, what time? It's 9:25, guys, anyways. So sorry for making it go late, and this wasn't really the original what we were gonna do or whatever, but I just kind of got amped up about it, mainly because people don't understand their own rights and their own stuff in this country. So I decided to switch it up just as like a Hail Mary call or whatever to talk about that mainly, and then just kind of show off some guns and talk about options. The one thing I will say is a $500 gun. You'll like Kyle Rittenhouse has got the basic. I would never buy that firearm. But the one he used is the most basic $600 firearm in an AR platform. And you can do something as cheap as that, and literally, right, like get the cheapest rifle, and you becoming familiar with it and training with it will get you 10 times further than buying the most expensive stuff and not training with it at all, or just shooting it very rarely just to see if it's on target, right? Like, and that's for the people who want to, right, the M60 tracers.
Good night, Czar. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, good night for sure. But so I mean that's gonna be my like ending statement on it, and I do thank you guys for going to bat and stuff in the TikToks and everything. It's a long battle, right? Like, we got some people that just want to come in and spew just a bunch of crazy nonsense that just no factual information, nothing that holds merit. They just want to be there to contradict and try to belittle people. And the people that travel over from TikTok into this podcast, those are like the OGs, right?
Those are the ones we want to talk to.
Yeah, those are the ones we want to talk to. And I'm trying to address stuff more and more in the TikToks and not get all, brought up into that. And I mean, the moderators are doing a good job. Anne stepped up. She's moderating. I don't know what other moderators are in here. Macaroni is. But I used to tell everyone, just say, don't. Let's leave the haters here or whatever. They get us likes and views and everything else, and then I ended up getting banned because of it, because someone got offended for whatever damn reason. But thanks for sticking around, guys, for sure. And we'll be back again on Monday. We'll be doing a fair amount of TikToks throughout the week, guys. We will be doing that now that Kevin can finally go live. It'll be better. I mean, I don't know why he hasn't jumped on the last couple lives, but
work, buddy, work.
When was it? Till 7 o'clock, bro. What are you talking about? I don't even want to hear that shit.
I had to go pick up Chloe at 5:30.
Excuses. But now he can go live, so we'll be going live, interacting with everyone on that stuff a lot. And we're gonna really start building the channel, and hopefully we can just get all the haters and stuff blocked to where we can actually get we're gonna jump on and combat that type of stuff.
Yeah, and tomorrow we'll do a Veterans Day
live.
We'll do a
Veterans Day live tomorrow, and all I ask is you guys don't help us get kicked off when the morons flow in, because the morons are going to flow in.
I like that response from Max, because whenever somebody thanks me for my service, I never know what to say. Like, what do I say? Thank you, or what do I say? You're welcome. But I like that. It was my pleasure.
Right.
I'm gonna start using that from now on. I'm stealing that from you, and I don't care.
But thanks, guys. Anyways, and we will definitely see you on the flip side for sure. Thank you,
and
guys.
like we said, we'll be on tomorrow. Join the live tomorrow on TikTok.
All right, guys. Bye.
Good night.